In this tutorial, we will implement an advanced clicker that lets out a VFX burst of coins, and also a in-game material that respawns the clicker. So if you want more videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to access the code or the assets of the tutorial or looking for help, you can check our Patreon in the description. Let's continue with the tutorial. Hello everyone. In this tutorial we are going to do a spawnable clicker, or you could say an advanced clicker as well. So we did a basic clicker tutorial back in the day, like it was one of our first videos, and now we are doing an advanced, a spawnable one. So the deal is, by using the prop manipulator devices, we're going to define areas like this, and then we'll basically have our clicker props be damageable and they will be destroyable, but after destroying them they will have a respawn time, which we will have an in-game like a material that shows the like left spawn time using a ring bar like this, and also using digits to display the left time. And we'll also, so this is kind of a custom damage. Even though we are using prop manipulator, we are actually doing custom damage using the verse code. So you will be able to set up triggers to change the damage of the player if you want. But of course, you can set the starting damage of the player to whatever you want as well. So first of all, let me show you how you can set this up, and so you can follow the story along if we're just going to code. But we have a bunch of assets for this one. So we have meshes, we have a gold splash visual effect, we also have materials. Like if you want to get those, you can check our Patreon for that. You can get all those assets, and you can get the code as well. But if you're just interested with the code, you can just follow along with the video as well. So when setting up the device, so we have an array of spawnable clicker areas. So basically we define an area that is filled with clicker props, which is defined by a prop manipulator device. And make sure, so with a prop manipulator, make sure you are setting it to affect all objects in the zone, and make sure you're setting it to modify prop health and is prop invulnerable. So we actually want the props as non-destroyable, because we are actually handling their quote-unquote destroying ourselves. So we are actually kind of hiding it and not actually destroying it, because that's why it's more efficient. So you define an area with a prop manipulator, and basically then you set here all the like clicker props inside of it. So you can set, you need to set the reference to the prop, and then you need to set the health of it, then you can set the name of it. So the thing is, when the player hits the prop, we'll be displaying a UI bar at the top center, which you can set the health amount and the name that's going to be displayed on that UI. And you can set the spawn seconds, gold grant on damaged, gold grant on destroyed. And also we are, like, I didn't set any triggers for this because I'm not using them, but if you want to listen to the damaged and destroyed events of any like clicker props in your map, you can just connect triggers here, and these two will be triggered by the verse code, and using those triggers, you can do anything you want. And basically this is the stuff you need to set for all the like clickers. And in this map I just have 4 of them. I have 2 areas, so this is the first area. So yeah, this is the first area. I have 2 clicker props in there, so you can set these all like this. And then we come to the second area, you know, I just put different values here. You get the thing. And then we come to the damage updates. So this is kind of a helper thing. Since we are doing custom damage, you can set up like triggers to update the damage amount, the damage that that player does. So mind you that this does not set the damage of the player to 1. It will add 1, and similarly this one is not going to set the damage of the player to -1. It's just going to subtract 1. So by using positive values, you can add more damage to the player, and by using negative values, you can actually decrease the player's damage. And we have gold splash VFX spawner per player, so I just have 2 of them. Actually I'm just going to test it myself, so 1 would be enough, but you need to put these VFX spawners 1 for each player. So if you have like 10 players in your map, you need 10 of them. So we have a as I said, we have a coin gold splash effect and something like this. So when basically just 1 is enough for each player, so when the player is hitting to a clicker, we are spawning this VFX there, and then we are basically playing that effect, right? And then we come to the gold granters. So we are just using Fortnite's gold item, so to be able to grant any type of gold, any amount of gold easily, we have like gold granter for 1,000, 110, and 1. So you need to set all those for all those. So make sure you make the granters keep all and current item, and make sure it's just going to have each of them just going to have 1 item. And for the 1,000 one, it's going to have 1,000 golds and 110 and then 1. And yeah, make sure it's the triggering player, grant condition always. Yeah, all that good stuff. And then yeah, we have gold scatter audio played. Like this is the sound that you want to play when the VFX plays. I don't have any sound, so I didn't set it. Then we have the starting damage for players. I just have 1. So the plain prop asset. So we are going to use this for these materials. So basically, it's just a empty, not empty, sorry. So it's just a plain prop, like it's just a creative prop blueprint with a custom, like not custom, it's just Fortnite's plain mesh, right? And of course these are all props as well. So I just made an empty prop, and then I drag the empty prop in the scene, and then I set the mesh, right? So like this. So this is how you do it. So you don't actually need to create a prop for each like different type of mesh, right? Actually, let me delete that. All right. Now, all right. So spawn prop uplift and VFX uplift. So this is a kind of, we give it a little bit an uplift offset for the VFX when spawning the VFX or when spawning these like materials. So they will basically be put on a little bit upwards of the like clicker's location. So you can set those values whatever you want. These were just nice enough. And the hit check distance, hit radius. So these are important. So we are actually doing a custom collision thing. So if you ever feel like the hit detection is kind of off, like it doesn't detect very well, you can like play with those values. I'm suggesting to not increase this hit check distance much, but maybe you could increase hit radius a bit more. So basically what it does is it's creating, like it does a collision check in front of you, in front of the player, like in front of the player in the distance of 128, and then it looks at a radius of 64, and if the like prop is in that sphere basically, then it's going to count it as a hit. Yeah, as I said, I think 128 is kind of good distance. Maybe you could even decrease that if your hits are not being detected properly, but you can increase the hit radius definitely. And UI height seconds, so when you hit the clicker prop, you'll have a UI health bar at the top, and if you don't hit it, it's going to disappear in 5 seconds, and you can adjust that. And then we have the UI bar texture, and you can set it to whatever texture here. And then we have a bunch of positioning settings and color settings for the UI. I mean, we have all these default values working, of course, but if you want to customize, you can change those values as well. So you're seeing the textures here, but for the digit textures, you need to put these textures in a folder called textures, create a folder called textures, and put them here, because in the code we are referencing them directly using the asset path of textures, so they need to be there. And also for the materials as well, so the M digits and M ring materials, they also need to be in the not the textures, but they need to be in a directory called materials here. So these are from other tutorials, but yeah, M ring and M digits, because we are directly referencing them from the asset path. So where is it? Okay, it's here. So yeah. So actually that's all for setting the device. And now let's continue with the code here. So we have a little bit message definitions here. So we have the spawnable clicker area definition. You already see in its editables. We just have an init initialization function here where we call this an onBegin, and then we have an onProp damaged event sent by the prop manipulator, which we sent it down to the or up. Depends on which perspective you see the code hierarchy. It notifies the main. Basically, it calls the function of the main device. Then we have the spawnable clicker class, which is it has all those editable fields that you just seen, and it also keeps the those materials, and also it keeps its health and the damage update. You also see in the basic class that allows you to change the damage of the player using triggers. And the agent data, so we keep the damage of the player, so we keep the last hit time to hide the UI. And then remember that we had like one VFX per player, so this is where we keep the reference of the VFX of this player, and then we have the UI. And you've seen all these editables, right? We all seen those. So these were not seen, so these actually partial seconds. So this is actually deprecated. Not deprecated, but this is the same as UI height seconds. I defined that there, but then I forgot about it, and I then defined a new one. So yeah, so we have VFX spawners. So this is a little, we have the VFX spawners as an editable, but we need to pull and put back again for all joining and leaving players. So we basically keep their reference as an optional here. And then we have a agent. We have our agent map, and then we have our animation keyframes. We do a little bit of animation when the props are hit. Then we also put all the digit textures in an array, so it's easy to access basically. So onBegin, we subscribe to the events. We initialize our clickers. We initialize our damage update classes. Then we also so we create our animation. So we create our animation keyframes. We put it in an array that we're going to use throughout the game. And for each clicker props in here, we are spawning the two materials. And of course, we are hiding them because we are only going to show those materials when the prop is quote unquote dead. And you can see that we are we are doing a sleep after each 5 spawn, because this could, if you have a lot of stuff, this could take a lot of time. This could take a bit of time, and that could make the burst runtime think that this is actually in an infinite loop or something, and the code could crash. So we are sleeping here and letting know the runtime, hey, I'm knowing what I'm doing. It's just gonna take some time, be cool. So then we spawn the async UI hiding. So this is just a little bit async code that hides the UI bar if your player didn't hit anything in a while. So when a player joins the game, we are giving that player a VFX. They are on VFX, and this is just we are looping through that array. We are finding a non-empty one, and then we are returning it. And the put VFX spawner is just puts a VFX spawner in that array. Yeah. Okay, so when the player leaves, it calls a put VFX spawner. On damage updated, you can see that we just add that update amount. So if this is negative, it's basically subtraction. And when the prop is damaged, so this is called by the prop manipulator device of that area. So basically we are doing that collision here, and then here we find a hit. If we find a hit, this is going to enter the if. And we are doing all kind of things. So we play the audio, we trigger the undamaged trigger of that spawnable of that clicker, and then we're playing an animation on it. We're playing the animation on it, and then we play the VFX. And then if we have destroyed it, then we are going to actually, it's not actually destroying. The prop is still there. We are hiding the prop, and we are also triggering down the straight trigger. So then we are showing the we are showing the materials, and then we are updating the materials each second. And actually, this occurred to me that we can do something better here. Let's actually do that. So doing this once a second is cool and all for the digits, but actually for the fill ratio, we want this to be smooth. So we could actually make this hope this works at the first time. So I wasn't actually planning to do this doing the recording, but I just wanted to do it. So actually, let's go on and make this a loop. And because I want this to be smooth, so I can't be just doing a sleep each second. So we need to do so let's do past time, right? So we are going to do, okay, so we are going to call this loop each frame, so we need to calculate the past time. So I'll say last time, and I'll initialize that to the current time. So when we sleep once, I'll get the current time, and then it's going to be the delta time. The time that has passed is going to be the current time minus last time. And then we're going to say, hey, let's update the last time. forgot the T there. All right, and then we're going to do, of course, past time is going to be delta time. And actually, let's not sleep here, shall we? Because I want to do the case where past time is like 0, right? So at first we're going to be 0, so that's cool. So that is cool. And then we're going to update. So previous past time. Let's make it like this, -1. And then we're going to do, oh no, so, okay, so this is going to be a bit, yeah, so we are going to, so what I'm trying to do is I want to have a valid initial case as well. So if we would say, so we would say something like this, right? Basically. And then, so we would just update the fill ratio. And fill ratio would be this. So left seconds and left seconds will be spawn seconds. Now I need to multiply this by 1 to convert to float because it's going to be a float. So this is going to be past time, and make sure we are clamping it just to make sure. So we are going to clamp that. So by just setting the material parameter here, it's going to work. And then we're going to sleep, of course. And we want to break if like past time is basically this. So you could say, like, why are we not just breaking here? You know, since past time had increased already here, we are not doing any increase here. We're doing that after the sleep because so that we could, you know, see that update on that frame. So, but what we need to do is we need to update the basically the digits. So we could say like previous last seconds int. So this is kind of ugly, but this is what we're going to do. So make sure that left seconds int is a thing, and if this is different from the previous last seconds int, then we're going to first of all update that. Not last seconds is left seconds int, and then yeah, we are going to get the digit textures. And yeah, we're going to pull the digits from those optional values, and then we are going to set those material parameters. All right. I believe this should work. If anything goes wrong, we'll come back to this, and just to make sure, don't delete these commented out section. So then, obviously, when the countdown has ended, we hide the materials. And then we, respawn is done, and we show the clicker prop. We set it self, we set it state, blah blah. Get digit textures you just seen me using here. So we are just, we have a seconds value, and using that seconds value, we are returning the appropriate digit textures. And we did this just for 2 digits. Could be done for more. We just did for 2 digits. Honestly, we thought that was enough. So this is the grant gold function. So this grants gold for a player for any amount of, any basically any amount. And what we do is we have an array of, we put the grantors in an array, and then we do a division on them, and then based on that division, we might keep granting based on that division result, we might keep gold. We might grant gold using that specific grantor. Excuse me. So if you have 547 gold, if you're going to grant 547 gold, so 1000 is going to divide it, and it's going to be 0. So it's not going to do anything. So then it will continue with 100, and 547 divided by 100 is going to be 5. It's an integer division. So it's going to give 100 golds 5 times, so 500 golds, and then it'll also decrease that value. So 47 will be left in the remaining gold to give, and then 47 divided by 10, it's going to be 4, and then it will give 40, decrease the 40, and we'll left with 7, and then it will give 7. And we already seen these. Then we, this function just updates the state of the bar UI, basically straightforward stuff. Pulls the widgets, and using these 2 values updates the state of those. So this is the canvas creation function for the prop UI bar plus the name text. So this just positions the entire the sub canvas, and then we have the inner canvas where we have the name at the top, and then we have the bar at below. And the bar is just a background bar, on top a foreground bar, and a border bar on top, and then on top of all those bars we have the the health ratio text, not texture, actually text, right? So yeah, so that's all for the code. So let me actually hit push changes, and while that is pushing the changes, let me so is that pushing the changes? Yeah, it's initializing. Okay, so I'm going to I'm going to scroll up slowly and make sure you can see all those good stuff. Again, we have a couple hundred lines of UI code. It's just straightforward stuff, not a complex UI compared to what we've done in many of our previous videos. So I would say that not one part of this is too complex, but it has just some intermediate level complexity stuff, and we have multiple of them, so it turns out to be a very useful thing in the end. And it's self-containing, so this doesn't like require anything else for you to use, right? You're ready to go. And we're almost done there. We have the keyframe deltas. Then we come to the variables that you have already seen in the editor. And then the classes, and then we're done. Okay. So while it's so we have also, I forgot to show you appropriately, you probably seen, but we have 3 gold meshes. So to use them as clickers, we have actually 2 of them, and this one we use in the like VFX. But basically this is a mesh, so you could actually use this in the level as well. And okay, the game is up. So let me move it to this window. All right. Now I hate this chat window. How do I just whatever? So I can come here, and when I hit it, you can see that the bar is showing, and you can see the coins splashing, and I get like 10 gold at each hit, which seems wrong, to be honest. Did I set it to 10? I thought I set it to 1. So let me look at that real quick. So we have gold grant on damage. So it should actually be, so I'm hitting this one, right? So this is SA1 underscore 1. So it's this one. So it should give 1 gold, but it's giving 10 gold. So either our granting function is wrong, or I am giving the gold for destruction here. So let me check. Oh yeah, definitely. So this is destroy. Okay, so when we are not destroying, we're still giving the grant on destroyed gold, but we should actually give on damaged. But yeah, I'm not going to push it right now to, you know what, just push it, and I'll just stop the recording and then come back when the changes are pushed. All right, I'm back, and now let's make sure it's working properly. I mean, it was already working properly. It's just a small mistake. All right, yeah. So you can see that you can see the name, you can see the health like ratio on the bar, and when I don't hit it for some time, it goes away, and when I hit to something new, it shows that one, and when I destroy it, you'll see the fill bar, the circle, the ring fill bar, and you see the countdown. Yep, it's working nicely, and yeah. And the same, depending on the spawn seconds you put, and since we have 2 digits available, it's just 99 at max. So this was 20, so it starts with 19, and it counts down. But we can have multiples at these. Yep. So it works pretty nicely, pretty smooth. I think so. Like I can come here, like increase my damage. Like I made my damage 5. Now I can just destroy this in 2 clicks. Then destroy this in like 4 clicks. Then I can return my damage to 1. And now it's the same again, right? So I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, this is all. To access the code or the assets of this video, you can check our Patreon. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share if you've enjoyed. And also leave a comment on what tutorial you would want to see next. See you later.